Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give everyone a few minutes to join the webinar. Hope everyone is well. If you're watching the replay, then hope you're ready for Christmas. I, for one, am mostly ready. I have most of my presents sorted for my family, and I have still a few things left to get. Point of shooting this video is, or this webinar, sorry, is the 19th of December. So I've got, what, 5 days to get this sorted. I'm optimistic that it's going to be fine, but I hope you guys are on top of your Christmas present shopping. Now, let's see what we have going on. We have a few people joining in the attendees. I'm going to run through a little bit of a format of how we're going to do this webinar, because normally we'll do these webinars around a particular topic, right? And it will be a topic that's relevant to starting your own online business. Now, we're going to stick to a similar kind of format and structure as the webinars that we do in the Scrap the 9 to 5 Private Entrepreneurial Network. And typically those kind of webinars are for people who are already building their online businesses. Now, I say we're going to do a typical structure. That doesn't mean that we're going to talk about stuff that's like, you know, not relevant for somebody who's not yet started a business. Because I know that for most people that join this webinar, we're joining it because you want to learn how to start building a business. You know, you don't necessarily, you're not necessarily at the stage where it's suitable to learn how to scale and how to like do paid marketing campaigns to advertise what it is you're selling and all this kind of stuff. That's a little bit further down the line. So we are going to stick to the same format, which is a Q&A. It's a questions and answers webinar, but the questions are typically going to be relevant to how to start your own online business instead of the stuff that we go on about in the weekly Q&As in the Private Entrepreneurial Network. Now, another couple of things that are really important to mention as well are that the topics that we're going to talk about, the things that we're going to talk about, if you are on this call live, you can ask questions right now. So down the bottom of the screen, you should see a chat button. So if you click that, if you do have questions that you want to ask, relevant to do with starting your own online business, then go ahead and ask those questions, type those questions in chat. I've got a whole list of stuff that I'm going to cover, which my team has gathered from YouTube and from email replies that we've had over the last week or so, YouTube comments and email replies, and also previous questions that we've had within the community that haven't necessarily been answered, right? So your live questions, plus the backlog of questions that we have. I'm going to try my best to cover everything in the next 57 minutes that we do have together. And by the way, everything that comes up or that I talk about or mention on this webinar, if you're watching the replay, so whether it's resources that we use, whether it's training that we recommend, or you know, other things that are valuable for starting your own business, any resource we recommend, you'll see in the description down below. All right. So I'm going to make sure to post those in the description down below. This webinar isn't like, you know, it's not going to be one of those sales webinars where the whole thing is a build up to buy my course or something like that. This is a Q&A webinar. This is just answer your questions that are holding you back. But anything we talk about, you will see those linked in the description if you do want to take any of those things further yourself, if they would be useful. Okay. So let me have a quick look in chat. Peter Bolton said it's a great opportunity to wish us a happy Christmas and another prosperous new year. Peter, I could not agree more, my friend. By the way, for you guys that are in the community that are already in SFM and building your businesses, you're more than welcome to come across on the panel. Peter, if you want to, just go ahead and raise your hand. We've got Mr. John Brooks, the man, the myth, the legend, who's just joining us on the panel right now. Hello, mate. Peter, I'm going to promote you across. Okay. Anyone else that would like to join us on the panel as well, feel free to raise your hand and I'll promote you across. Hello, Peter. So yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Are you guys ready for Christmas, or are you like me and still have things to sort?
What Christmas?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm working. We'll do that next week.
Exactly, yeah. Have your own Christmas when things have quietened down a bit. What about you, John?
Yes, mate. I've got 2 days off and a house half plastered. So yeah, it's kind of an inconvenience this year, but I'm doing my best.
Good work, mate. I see. I now see the wall behind you.
That's the good one.
That's the good one. Oh, fantastic. All
I
right.
seem,
Well,
I seem to remember, John, were you on a call with either JJ or Justin Wolf, and they mentioned the wall behind you a few months
Yes,
ago now, I think. It's the
that's
same
like
wall.
that's
There you
like
go.
that wall there.
There you go.
So yeah,
I remember. Work in
yeah,
progress.
we're getting there slowly, mate.
Yeah, well done. No, good to see you. Sorry,
You
Dan.
too,
well,
mate.
buddy. That's all right, mate. It's all right. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining. By the way, like if you guys have any questions as well that are relevant to starting a business or any perspective, feel free to type them in chat.
We're just here because we love you and we want to support you.
Oh, what you like. Bless you. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's good to be with you. How long is the call for? An hour?
Yeah, we've got 54 minutes. I'm going to crack on and cover as many of these as possible. By the way, if you guys do have your own perspectives to share for any of these questions, please just feel free to chip in because obviously your experience is highly valuable for people that are in that position to start. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Cool. Nice one. Right. So Evelyn said, if I opt to join SFM, would it work considering I'm in Kenya? Good thing about online business is as long as you've got internet, you can build it from anywhere in the world. Most of 2018, well, all of 2018 and a bit at the tail end of 2017, that was when I was doing my world traveling adventures, and I was basically working off a laptop in coffee shops and co-working offices all across. I did America, Australia, in Canada for a bit, all across Asia, like Vietnam, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, like Philippines, plenty of those places. The internet is, let's say, medium at best. So yeah, as long as you've got a laptop and internet, that's all good. Hanny said, hi guys, yep, welcome, good to see you. If anyone's just joined, by the way, if you've literally just joined the call, then type in chat down below any questions that you have relevant to starting an online business, and I will do my best to answer them. Yeah, Hanny, good to see you from Dubai. Nice one. You're up a little bit late. Good work being on this call. Nice one. So let's go to questions that we have had throughout the week, because I did a video on YouTube earlier in the week, which was this one here. Your questions answered. What do you need to start your own online business? We got a few questions down below. I'm just going to whiz through some of those. And by the way, if you have asked one of these questions, again, if you're watching this webinar on the replay, either because I've emailed the replay to you or you've seen it on YouTube, then I'll pop down below the questions that I have answered for you. Okay, so we had a question. I'm going to do this in reverse order. So first questions first. Okay, Luigi Hagrid. And by the way, apologies if I slaughter anyone's name. I'm trying my best, but if I mispronounce, then sincere apologies. Question is, I don't know what to publish on my website and also what to do on my YouTube page. Can you help with any ideas? Yes. Okay. So when we're talking about essentially growing an audience, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever platform that you are looking to grow an audience in, it really depends. What is your intention for growing this audience? What's the value that you want to give? Okay. So that could be the area that you might start answering this question is, what's my passions? You know, what is it I'm passionate about? Am I really into my health and fitness? Am I really into my drones and technology? Am I really into like spirituality, meditation? Okay, so whatever it is, what is your niche? What is your area of focus? And then if you can really start to get specific about what is your unique value to the market and get really specific to a very specific type of person. So a mistake that, just to pick a random example, a mistake that I see a lot of people make is they define themselves, say they want to be a coach, say they want to be a life coach, and then they define themselves as a life coach. And they can help with all sorts of problems. It could be anything from stopping smoking or getting out of an unfulfilling career, or it could be about dealing with a relationship breakup, or this or that or this or that, because they can do all of these things under life coaching. And what they do is they become a generalist that just blends in with the other hundreds of thousands of life coaches that are online. and nobody really perceives that they have any specific value to offer for their problem. To give you an example, let's say you owned a business, you're a business owner, and let's imagine that I don't know, a pipe has burst in your kitchen, and your business premises kitchen is currently just flooding. Like, the water level's rising, this pipe is just gushing water, and like you can't turn it off, the mains tap's not working or whatever, right? So you've got this immediate problem that is really needing to be sorted right now. It's an important problem in your life. Now, let's say you're panicking, and you run to one of your team and you're like, this is happening, I need you to solve this problem right now. Go and find me someone that can solve this problem. They're like, okay, no problem, we'll figure this out. And they go on Google and they type emergency pipe repair company in Sheffield. I don't know, say you're in Sheffield. They type this on Google. Now, let's say two things come up, two results. Obviously, there'll be a lot more, but just keep it simple. Let's say there's two results. Now, one of the results says, hey, general handyman, we can help with all problems from carpentry to driveways to pipes and electricians and blah, blah, blah. We can do all of this stuff, whatever you need. We're here to help you. Just call us now. And then the second option says specialist emergency pipe and drainage repair for B2B organizations in Sheffield. We are completely focused and targeted on helping you with the fastest response time possible for your emergency pipe repairs. Who the hell are you going to call? Are you going to call the general handyman, or are you going to call the company that are really bloody good at solving your problem because that's all they do? You're going to call the specialist, right? And so with online business, where our target market, we can essentially reach people all around the world, what happens is the second you're a generalist, right, and people have problems, but the second that you're a generalist and you're not really targeted to any very specific problem, you've got people who can go on Google and they can type their problem, and immediately they're confronted with, specialists who can help with that particular problem. And so the more niche that you are, the more focused that you are on an exact pain or problem that you solve, and that is what you are good at, and that is what people turn to you for, that is when you're able to really offer value to people that are experiencing that exact pain or problem. Do not be the general handyman, be the specialist that helps solve emergency piping repairs for companies that pipes have exploded. All right, always remember that example. So to answer your question, when you're saying, Luigi, about you don't know what to publish on your website and what to do on your YouTube page, well, as soon as you define what's that value that you can offer and who can you offer it to, and get really specific. And honestly, I need to do this on my own YouTube channel at the moment. It's not specific enough. I do mindset stuff, and I do online business stuff, and I do I do these webinars, but a lot of what I talk about, it goes into the spiritual side and away from the business side, and it's kind of a little bit all over the place sometimes. So just define who is it you help, how do you help them, and what's that specific value, and then the content that you add to website or your channel or whatever to grow an audience is going to be around that. Okay. Next question was Gloria Garcia says, thank you for all your videos. What I need is to find a service or a product that could be of value to people and that I will be passionate about. I feel like I need to find a light bulb idea, but I don't know how to go about it. Very much like Veronica Sandu's comment on this thread as well. So this is going to answer. So Veronica also said, I need to know what I'm good at and what will be useful to people. I've been to courses, I've read a lot, I've taken tests, but I don't know what a suitable passion is for me. I just can't identify it. Okay. All right. So Gloria, I'll start with yours, and then Veronica will touch on yours as well. So finding a product or service, or a lot of the time when we start in business, we have this idea of we feel that we need to create our own product or service. At least that's certainly what I felt like when I first started, literally right at the start in September 2016. And what we often don't realize is that through business models like affiliate marketing or e-commerce, we don't need to create or build our own products or services to build an online business. And the way that would typically work is that a lot of companies nowadays, in fact, the majority of companies have some sort of affiliate partnership scheme generally. And the way that that works is if you imagine a typical brick and mortar business, and they've got every part of the business from marketing to sales to product fulfillment, product development, research and development, product support, and customer service. You might have like other operations, software and infrastructure, finance, legal, HR, whatever, like all the components of the business. What affiliate marketing is where the company that has made this product essentially says, hey, we're not going to necessarily do the sales and marketing ourselves, or sometimes they do it themselves as well, but they essentially outsource that part of the business process to an affiliate. An affiliate could be us. So when you're an affiliate for a company, what you're essentially doing is you're leveraging their product, service, support, everything there, right? That part of the process. And you're dealing with the front end sales and marketing. You're just helping acquire customers. And often companies even help you with the sales aspect as well. You just pass them leads and then they do the rest. And what happens then is you earn a percentage of revenue relative to that front end part of the process, and they get the percentage of revenue that's relative to the back end part of the process. So essentially you're taking the whole business process, you're splitting it in two, you deal with just this part, the other company deals with all of this part, and you form a partnership called an affiliate partnership, where you recommend their products and services, and they then provide those products and services to people who need them. That's how affiliate works. And so a really good idea is when you're first starting, if you, again, imagine starting from scratch and you've got to master every single element of that entire process and build your own product, how much higher a barrier to entry is that than just mastering this front end part? Learning how to do it automatically, learning how to use systems and technology to get messages in front of the right people at the right time, and then convert them to customers automatically. You can do that, then maybe one day you want to start doing your own products and services. Learn all that once you've got the front end bit right. So with that in mind, my general advice, and this is for Gloria and Veronica and anyone else in this space as well, is get out of the mindset of thinking we have to create our own product or service or come up with some like amazing new Uber or Airbnb or Expedia level idea, because there's very few of us that are going to come up with $1 billion software idea in our lives, right? So get out of that mindset and get into the mindset of just thinking, what do I like? Like, what are my passions? Right? And that could be, it doesn't need to necessarily be, this is my life's purpose and this is what I'm going to dedicate every waking second of the next 30 years to. I haven't figured that out yet. Like, you don't need to necessarily figure that out to start. It's always a work in progress. But if you start thinking, what is it I'm passionate about? What do I like? Do I like yoga? Do I like walks in the country? You know, do I like motorcycles? Do I love like personal development and attending events? And if so, who and why? Do I really enjoy, like, you know, as I'm starting to learn about online business stuff, do I really enjoy getting into the nitty gritty of like figuring out all the marketing? Am I one of these freaks like me who loves spreadsheets and numbers and stuff? You know, what is it you like? What is it? And a good question to ask is, when you were a little kid, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that kind of age, what is it that you just got so excited about and you just geeked out on? You know, I like things like, me and my brother used to play Battle Zones, which is like these little tanks that were on, I don't know if you remember Thunderbirds and their Tracy Island, but it was that kind of like model, you know, like Warzone thing, and you used to play with tanks and they fired rockets and all this stuff. And actually, like, a lot of the games that we used to make up there, funnily enough, I like the same sort of concepts with building businesses. Sounds ridiculous, but you know, the more that you can dig into what is it you liked when you were a little kid and what got you like really excited, and then look at how that applies in real life, then get out of the mindset of needing to create your own product, because you don't. Then just go and find companies that make or create or have products or services in that sector that are really good. Right? Who are the leading companies in that sector? And then just go on Google, just type the company name and then affiliate program after it. Okay, so if you find a company that does like, I don't know, outdoors hiking boots or something, or let's say, I don't know, like Under Armour. I don't know if Under Armour have an affiliate. I don't know why I'm saying like this shirt is Under Armour. It's not. But Under Armour do like sort of muscle fit t-shirts for gym and that kind of stuff. Maybe you just really like health and fitness. See if Under Armour have an affiliate program. And then you can start learning how to start build an audience and begin to build a business behind that through a model like affiliate partnership. That would be a place to start to focus your efforts. Then once you've got that defined, it's then a case of educating yourself on, well, how do you build a business now? You've got an affiliate model, you've got a sector you want to, get started in. Now, how do you build a business? And that's where business education, again, links in the description for all the stuff that we recommend. If you want education to build a business, just pop, it's in the description below if you're watching the replay. If you're on the live call, wait for I'll send an email out tomorrow with this replay, and it will go on YouTube. Right, so that'll be Friday the 20th. This will be out on YouTube, so if you want those links in the description, you'll see them tomorrow. One final thing, and this is probably more specific for Veronica as well, is if you really want to start getting into what is it that you love to do that is useful for people and useful for the world, and what is like this passion that you want to bring to market? Like if you're more in like the sort of high level self-actualization part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you're familiar with that, then I would say Google search Ikigai. So Ikigai is a Japanese principle, is 4 quadrants, and the quadrants from memory are what are you good at, what can you earn money for, what do you love, and what does the world need? That's the 4 quadrants of Ikigai. And the principle is that if you most people overlap 2 of those things. So they have a bit of something they're good at and they earn money for it. And that's called, they define each one. I think that's called a profession. And then you get another one, which is something you love and something you're good at, which is called a passion. And then you have a vocation, which is, I can't remember which way around, but just Google Ikigai. And if you go through the process of Ikigai, that's designed to help you start to uncover, what is your purpose and what can you give back to the world and all that kind of stuff. It's spelled Ikigai, Ikigai. Hopefully that helps. Right. Okay. Next question was, Andy Snedden says, at the moment, Dan, it's the tech skills that are holding me back. I'm getting through it. My biggest concern, though, is running out of money before I start making any. So step by step, I'm building a sales funnel this week. Congratulations, mate. Good work, taking action and moving forwards. Now, tech skills, running out of money. So let's talk about tech skills. Tech skills, in my view, this is nice and simple. We often freak ourselves out, and again, I can totally relate to this in the early stages. We're like, I'm no idea how I'm going to learn all of this stuff, particularly when you start, trying to learn online business. You're like, God, there is so much to do. There's so many different things to learn. Like, what is an autoresponder? How do I build a sales funnel? How do I do a website? I don't know how to do a website. I don't know code or anything like that, which you don't need to know, by the way. But you're in this space where there suddenly becomes all this stuff to learn. You're like, how do I learn it? I've no idea. I'm freaking out and overwhelmed at the mountain I have to climb. Now, we've got to remember that any skill that we've ever learned throughout our entire lives, ever, before we started learning it, we didn't know how to do it. And then we just committed to it, and then we learned it. And any skill, like anything that you want to learn, if somebody else like you has learned it before, you can learn it. Just going to take a bit of time. It's like learning to drive a car. So not having the tech skills is never, ever the reason not to start an online business, because no human comes out the womb with tech skills, right? That's not a genetic gift that your mother has given you. People learn tech skills throughout their life. And so if you want to start an online business and you want to create a life of freedom and you want to build like a better future for yourself, and you've decided online business is the route, well, at some point, you're either going to have to just let go of that and go, you know what, I'm just going to stay in my current situation because I'm not going to learn the tech skills, or you just suck it up and go, you know what, might take me a bit of time, but if he can learn it or she can learn it or they can learn it or whatever, I can learn it too. And I'm ready to do it. I'm going to commit, just like driving a car. I'm going to just start learning, start figuring it out. And before you know it, you will literally be light years ahead of where you started. And, you know, then you'll look back on the journey and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how much I've come along, how far I've come since that time when I was freaking out because I thought that I couldn't do it because I didn't have the tech skills. So just take it one step at a time, mate. In terms of the money as well, again, absolutely get that. Like, when people start in online business, we come at it with all different backgrounds, all different amounts of capital and resources. Like, some people start the journey and they literally have no money at all. Other people start the journey and they've got some money behind them, or they're able to finance their business, or, you know, whatever. A lot of people will start a business and they grow an audience organically, free. Takes more time, right? You've got to put in a lot of work to grow an audience organically, but that's a way of doing it without investing large amounts of capital. You know, there's other people who start the journey, they do paid marketing. Essentially, the balance is free marketing takes a lot more time but doesn't cost you anything. Paid marketing is a lot quicker, but it's going to cost you something, right? That's the seesaw. So my view with this is, I always look at the money aspect, mate, as I look at it through two lenses. Number one, I ask myself, if I had a gun to my head and it was do or die, and I had no choice but to find the money because it was literally my life was on the line and it was that important to make it happen, how would I do it? And I genuinely believe, like, if somebody had a gun to their head and they had to find the money, they would find the money because it's do or die. Just ask yourself that and look at it honestly. Like, honestly, if I had a gun to my head, could I find the money that I need to move forward, whatever that looks like? I genuinely believe that for 99% of people, the answer is yes. If it was that important, we'd find a way, because humans are very resourceful. And the second way that I look at this as well is I look at it through the lens of, throughout my entire life, and this applies to everyone, right? Throughout our entire lives, when our back has been against the wall, and again, when it's do or die, when we've had no choice to figure something out. Let's say you suddenly lost your job without notice and you had to find a new job because you literally were going to run out of money at the end of the month. Or let's say that you had something tragic happened in your family and it completely knocked you for six, and then, you know, eventually you came back for it, or whatever, right? Anytime we've had something major happen in our lives and we really had to dig in, we always find a way to make it happen. And again, the reason we can say this, the reason we know this, is that if you're watching this webinar, if you're on this webinar live, or if you're watching this replay, you're fine. Like, you're safe. You likely have a roof over your head as you're watching it. You likely have water to drink. You likely have food to eat. And if that's the case, you've safely got here to this point in your life. You've made it, right? You made it to here. All of us have made it to here. And if we've successfully made it to here, everything's always worked out okay. We've always figured it out. No matter how hard it got, we found a way, stuff worked out. We worked it out. And if that's the case, no matter what happens in the future, you've just got to trust that you're going to figure it out. You always will. When it really gets that hard, that it's do or die, that's when we get resourceful enough to find a way. That's when the gun to head kicks in and it's like, I've got no choice now. I've just got to do it. And we do it. We have to. You know, so always look at it like that. What if, you know, Andy, what if you start your business and you run out of money? What would you do then? Another top tip is, whatever the what if is that we're telling ourselves, whenever we're playing the what if game, you go right there. You go, so if you're saying, yeah, but what if I run out of money? All right, what if you run out of money? What would you do? How would you get resourceful? How would you figure it out? Imagine right now you're in that position, you run out of money, right? You've nothing left in your bank account. Your business isn't getting the results that you want. What would you do if that actual worst case scenario happened? And when we look at that worst case scenario and go, you know what, if I was actually in that position right now and I had to figure it out, what would I do? Let's take out a piece of paper. Let's write a list of all the things I could do to solve this problem. You'll realize that there's a ton of different ways out. One of my biggest ones that didn't hold me back, but it created a lot of anxiety in the first few months of my journey, was that I was looking at what would happen if I failed. What would happen if I had to go back to work? And I was terrified of the judgment from other people. There were some people that were saying, like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Like, why are you quitting this software sales career to, pursue this online business thing? You're mad. What's wrong with you? And I like, my pride, my ego did not want to go through that, like, tail between my legs, oh, I failed, and having to go back to the corporate world. But when I actually looked at it, and when I was using this as a reason to, like, stop me taking action because I was scared, I was like, well, what if that happened? Would it actually be that bad? No. Like, my skill set, my CV, I'd get a job pretty quickly. I'd then, have an income, my bills are covered. Like, that, I wouldn't get into a position where, like, I'm going to lose my home and everything's going to fall apart and I'm going to end up on the streets and the rest of my life will be over. That's what the little voice in the head will make us think, but it's not like that. So just go straight to the what if. Well, what if you run out of money? What would you do? You'll figure it out, right? And get a load of ways that you would figure it out. You realize it's not so bad, and then you can let go of it controlling you and stopping you from taking action. Andy, hopefully that makes sense. Guys on the panel, good to see you all, by the way. Anyone got any other perspectives on that? So the fear of what if I run out of money, I know for a lot of us, it is something that we have to overcome at some point in one form or another. Have any of you guys got any other perspectives on that, or like experience of your own journey of overcoming that? Just feel free to share.
Yeah, Dan, I can share on that. I think that might be helpful.
Nice one.
I think we all come from different backgrounds at the end of the day. And a piece of advice that was given to me a few years ago is, if you run out of money, beg, borrow, or steal. Now, that's not advice that we're putting out for the SFM, clearly.
No.
But I think you're right. I mean, I think people get into a situation where nobody's ever got enough money, have they? So, we always go out in pursuit to try and get more money, whether it's in gainful employment or whether it's in a smarter field, an online business, as I've learned in the last 12 months, where I don't have to go to work and, do that 9 to 5 treadmill. So I think it's a way of just trying to find the best balance between how to get involved. And if you haven't got very much money, try some of the free marketing assets that we've got. If you've got a pot of money that you're prepared to invest some money on a regular basis, get involved and put some more money in, because the more money you put in, the faster you're going to get to the point where you're then starting to earn income back from the business. And like any business, it's a risk. It's an investment that we make, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we came up with a new product, I don't know, an electric toothbrush or something, if we were the first people to create that, it might be a risk to put our money into that, or borrow money from the bank to fund the business to sell, electric toothbrushes. Who knows? And of course, there's many products that are taken to market by companies that start up with a great idea or a great product, and the majority of them, the truth is, they fail.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now they've got no money and they've got a bank loan. What do they do then? It's funny how we can become resourceful to find the money to do what we're trying to do. So I guess that would be my perspective.
Brilliant, mate. And you know what? That's the reason that's so powerful, is because I think with online business in particular, a lot of us lose sight of the fact that we're building a business. Now, clearly the barrier to entry, like if you were to start a brick and mortar business, such as a franchise or something like that, you'd probably be looking to invest upwards of 6 figures, 100 grand, 250 grand. Like, that's the amount of capital that you might need to find and put on the line to start up. And yet online business, we're talking like fractions of that, 5% or less. And yeah, so I don't know about you guys in your businesses, but a lot of the time I'll get questions on email that say things like, so if I invest $29.95, how long is it going to take me to earn £1 million? And it's like, okay, so if you were going to start a brick and mortar business, would that sound remotely reasonable or realistic? And we lose sight of the fact that we're building a business. Yes, the barrier to entry is ridiculously low. You can set up a Shopify store for $39 a month. Compare that to actually buying an offline, like a shop, an actual shop, or leasing a shop, where your rent is like, 3-4 grand a month for a small space on the high street. And that is only then getting you access to customers in one small town, and you've then got to physically fill it with actual products and stock it, which might actually cost you about 40, 50 grand for your stock. You can get a Shopify store for 39 bucks. You can then use other people's products, list them on your store, drop ship them. Your total investment for setting up might be less than $100. And then you might invest a few $100s in paid marketing to start getting traction. And then you've got potentially, an e-commerce store. Now, granted, there's more to it than that to really create a quality business that actually delivers great products to people. Again, it's not as easy as just click, 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 then you're making millions. But we've got to keep the perspective in mind that although the barrier to entry is ridiculously low compared to what it was, you're still building a business. You're still building something that delivers value to people. So, Peter, thank you. Anyone else got any perspective on that before we move on? Steve Smith. Yes, mate. Oh, you're muted. There you are.
Yeah, so my story was very similar. I had a few avenues of finance that I went down. I don't know whether you recall, but I was on my way to an event, and I had received an email, and one of the avenues of finance was suddenly not available to me. I made a couple of phone calls, and I had to be a bit resourceful. And in the end, I got a better solution than the one that had just turned down. So you have to try and work out what you can do, and there's always another way. There's always another avenue to go down.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And again, that resourcefulness thing, it's always interesting when, and again, I can talk about this in personal experience, but when we're in that space of I can't afford it, or what if I run out of money, and it's fear, like we're closed to seeing opportunities and potentials in front of us. And then the second that it's like, okay, well, let's just let go of that and trust that I'll figure it out, and whatever happens is going to be fine. Suddenly the fear disappears.
It's about reframing that question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't afford it. I can't do this. I can't do it. How am I going to do it? How am I going to solve this problem? Because at the end of the day, it's just a problem to solve, isn't it? How am I going to solve this problem? So yeah, that's kind of my story. Is just having lots of different sort of ideas that you can pursue, and as I say, just as luck would have it, I mean, it was very fortuitous, but I had a very good friend who I'd helped in the past, and he just had the resources available and said, why don't I let you have the resources, because I know I'm going to get it back.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Mate. That was it. There you go. Good work. Well done. I've just spotted as well off the back of that, John, your question. So talking about the disposable income versus lump sum cash injections from savings, what would be your advice? What would be my advice, and why? So I'll read out the question in full because it's a good question. So you said, for someone starting out in online business, from your experience, would you advise starting with affiliate marketing or e-commerce first? And would it make a difference if you had either a set amount of disposable income per month or a lump sum cash injection from savings, which you could put into the business? What would be my advice and why? Cool. So e-commerce or affiliate marketing. Just before I answer this, did you have a preference or a route that you were looking to go down, or is it really just because I know obviously at the moment you're looking at the affiliate side, are you kind of toying with e-com as well? Where are you at?
Yeah, well, I'm in the affiliate side at the moment, but I paused paid marketing due to financial situation. But I have been offered a pot of money that I could either split over a period of time to use for paid marketing, or I thought about investing that pot of money into an e-commerce store and going down that route, But it was also the case of, I don't know if you would, if you're cold coming into this, what would someone do? What would be the best option financially?
Cool. Okay. So e-commerce or affiliate, a lot of it is to do with, I'm going to say personal preference, but personal preference based on what is it that you really want to be doing in the longer term. And I'll give you an example. So for me, e-commerce, and I've got like here behind me, for example, this is the first prototype of the Bamboo Bar product that I've mentioned a couple of times on this webinar. It's the first e-commerce store that I started building up. I put a team of people together last year. I went to an event in China called the Canton Fair to try and find manufacturers, which, by the way, you don't need to do. Like, don't think if you build an e-commerce business, you need to run across to China and go and meet manufacturers. I was over that side of the world anyway. There was an event on. I thought I'll go to it and see if I can find some companies that make bamboo. Anyway, I digress. So the point is that although I'm very much aligned with what Bamboo Bar's about, I'm very much aligned with, it's actually about two things. Number one, the eco-friendly aspect of non-plastic, non-harmful chemicals, vegan, reusable bamboo container. And the point of it is that whenever someone purchases one of these, we also plant trees to offset and actually make us carbon, not just carbon neutral, but like carbon negative. So the whole thing is about doing good for the world, but also the initial idea of the business came from getting a group of potential entrepreneurs together who hadn't quite mastered all the elements of, building a successful business, but maybe they were good at web design, but not good at video, or great at blog post writing, but just not good at like the technical aspects of marketing or whatever. And so we take this team of people together and then empower them to learn the skills to actually build a business. That was kind of how Bamboo Bar was formed. And that for me is something that really, means a lot more. It's like empowering people. And that's what Scrap the 9 to 5 is about as well. So the reason I'm telling you this story is I don't wake up in the morning thinking, I can't wait for us to sell bamboo bamboo deodorant on the internet, right? It's not the selling this product here that I like about that business. It's the bigger picture. And so you've got to ask, if you're getting into e-commerce and selling just physical products for the sake of selling physical products just to make a return, in my personal opinion, and it is my personal opinion, e-com will get boring very quickly if you're not aligned with something more. The buzz of selling a product for £3.50, it's gonna, if that's all it is, it's gonna run out very quickly. And there's a lot more, let's say building an e-commerce business can end up being a lot more technical and a lot more admin-y. And you can employ people to do that, but that's really the backbone of the business. It's building a successful store. It's like marketing it online, but it's not really through, the types of more connected and value-driven strategies that you can use in affiliate. For example, the reason I love high-ticket affiliate is that the whole model, I find it's a lot more connected to the people that you're serving. This is volume. And also the margins are a lot lower. So the marketing that I'd be able to do with this is, let's say, not as targeted. I couldn't put as much money into it because my margins are much lower. If my product sells for £3.50 and I want to make a 200% ROI on marketing spend, I cannot afford to spend more than £1.75 per, as a cost per sale. But if I'm marketing, let's say a $10,000 product as an affiliate that I completely believe in and that I absolutely get behind, and it's a life-changing product for people, that's, in terms of the marketing aspect, it allows me a hell of a lot more freedom to then get quite creative about how I get in front of people. And also in terms of the business process and the nurture and the value-driven strategy to help someone move through that process and actually help them change their lives in a significant way. I find there's much more connection there. And again, it's just like, what do you want? If you're looking more for the human connection, maybe affiliate, because you're not going to necessarily speak one-on-one to all your customers that buy one of these. There's pros and cons to both, mate. I guess hopefully that gives you a little bit of context between the two.
Yeah, no, definitely. I appreciate that, mate. That's really helpful for anyone starting out and for me. I mean, eventually I do want to get into my own e-commerce gadget store, but it's very much in the future when I've got capital to spend on that. But initially, it's all about it is all about that connection, and affiliate's the way to go, definitely.
Yeah, I think just to sort of summarize that, mate, again, it's just the point of if you're truly passionate and you love what it is that you're selling as e-commerce, if it like the gadgets thing, if you're literally like you can't get enough of getting your hands on them, maybe doing like a review for your store of each product that you sell, and like you love the creative aspect of making these videos, and then you just geek out on the product itself, great, like that might be for you. But if the product isn't that inspiring, then yeah, potentially affiliate. Now, in terms of the second part of your question, buddy, as well, the way that I started when I quit my job from the word go and got a loan, got like credit cards, got my savings, just pulled everything together into one, pot of liquidity, and then just went hell for leather. I don't advise people do that. It creates insane levels of anxiety, and it's just not the smartest way to start. Generally, the best advice in my experience is if you have an income, if you have a job, particularly if you've got a good income, keep the job and use the monthly income to then fund your business bit by bit. And marketing wise, a lot of us want to just go, especially if you've got a pot of capital or saving, as soon as we start spending a bit on our campaigns and seeing some kind of traction, it's very tempting to go, oh, I think things are working now, and I'm just gonna boom start dumping all my money into it, thinking that the returns are absolutely gonna, we're gonna clean up in the next couple of months. And then suddenly we see we were driving leads, maybe driving a few front end sales, but the back end stuff, you didn't attribute the revenue. But suddenly you're like, oh, I've put most of my capital down, and I was too quick, and I wasn't waiting to see if the revenue was coming from the spend. And now we've burnt through this big pot of cash. So even if you have a pot of cash, it's often better, in my experience, to treat it, to split it into a monthly income and then slow it down a little bit. And as you start to see results on scale, that's when you can begin to reinvest and maybe scale up a little bit, and you're doing it in a more sensible, linear fashion. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, buddy. No problem at all. Bouret in the chat on the webinar says how to actually start from actual scratch, as I'm only 18 with no money and no clue how to dip into online business. Steve said lots of 18-year-olds killing it on YouTube. The secret here is creating content and learning how to get that in front of people. Your story will resonate with someone and they will get value from it. Yeah, so a few different routes. I mean, if you're starting with no capital, you're going to be looking at organic and typically content creation, and also nowadays video content. Now, platforms like YouTube, obviously the second largest search engine in the world now behind Google, and Google own it as well. What it essentially boils down to is that it is a lot harder nowadays to build an audience on YouTube than it was 5 years ago. 3 to 5 years ago, it was a lot easier to scale a channel. However, there are other platforms now. For example, TikTok is a platform that a lot of the younger generation are on. They've got 500 million users now, which is half of Instagram's user base. Pretty serious platform. And Gary Vee talks about the organic reach on TikTok at the moment being insane. Compared to something like YouTube, you can scale an audience much faster. Now, I sort of I checked out I checked out TikTok a few weeks ago and just posted a couple of videos, and I've been kind of sort of paying a little bit of attention to it, but I haven't actually put in place a proper strategy with it yet. But I think there is big potential. I think there's massive potential. And the way that Gary Vee explains it, he says on these kind of platforms, if you can start to learn how to build an audience and then move that audience off the platform into your infrastructure, so your website, your email list, that kind of thing, then you're able to create an audience that you actually own. And then what happens is if the platform dies down, like Vine, for example, Vine was all the rage for a while and then it crashed and burned. If the platform just crashes and burns, but your audience only exists on the platform, well, you can no longer connect with your audience because they're not logging onto the platform anymore. But if you own the audience because you've built them on a platform, you've created a lot of value, and then you've offered something like, hey, by the way, if you're really loving this, there's something that I can give you on my website. It's a free series that will help you with XYZ. Or if you're interested in gadgets and you want to learn more about some of the top things I'd recommend, click through to my website, sign up to my list, and I do like a weekly review of all the top gadgets that you've absolutely got to get your hands on. You know, click the link and go to my website and enter your name and email. So that'd be a way to move your audience onto your own list. So to answer your question, my friend, I would probably be looking at what can you do to give value and build an audience, and what is that area that you want to build an audience in? What are you passionate about? And then I would be looking at, and again, I'll recommend you some tools in the description, but you'd be looking at building a website, and that might include a landing page and a thank you page for an opt-in, like product, tripwire, we call it, where you're opting in to give someone value, again, like sign up to my weekly newsletter, or sign up to a series that I've created that highlights the basics of how to do XYZ, or, you know, sign up to my 30-day transformation fitness program that's going to, you know, teach you the fundamentals of nutrition and fitness and creating your own lifestyle that will get you in shape in the long term, or whatever, right? An opt-in for something of value that you offer. And to do that, you'll be looking at, you need to get an email autoresponder. So in super simple terms, it's website with a landing page for an email opt-in to an email autoresponder where you deliver value. And that's kind of the backbone of what you do. And if you're growing an audience on a platform and you're driving into that system, and then you're emailing automatically, you don't have to sit there writing the emails like every day to all the new people. It's done automatically. It's called an email autoresponder. That will allow you to then start to nurture an audience. And then over time, the more that you learn about this kind of stuff, the more that you'll be able to kind of start to build on it and look at other angles and look at monetizing and so on and so forth. But that's where I'd start, mate, if it was from actual scratch. Right? Hopefully that helps. Let me know in the chat if you've got any follow-up questions to that, buddy. Or just thumbs up if you like it. Right, we've got 9 minutes left. Let me just dive back onto YouTube. Okay, Eric Nickel, I think what is lacking most is initially, for lack of a better way of asking, how much to get started, how long to get it going. Cool, how long is a piece of string? People start, again, with, people start with $0. There's people who start with $100,000. You know, there's people who start with, what else did you say? How long to get it going? There's people who start and then they're getting traction and seeing significant results in 3 to 6 months. There's people who start and after 3 years, they're still, you know, struggling to make those breakthroughs. The point is, if you look at the actual step-by-step that you need to take to build a successful business, that actual step-by-step is a pretty quick process. You know, for a lot of like an e-commerce drop shipping business, we're talking a week to a month to set up a business, but it's not taking the steps that is the reason that we're not succeeding. Again, think of the gym example. Like, the actual process to get in great shape is really simple, and we're all capable of doing it, really. If you really boil it down, it's put better things in your face and less of it, and it's like show up at the gym and do exercises that like just move your body in a certain way a few times, and we're all perfectly capable of that. We know how to do it, you know, but it's not the how, it's not the strategies, it's not the techniques that hold us back from creating the result. Someone might walk in the gym and in 90 days they're shredded. Someone else walks in the gym 3 years later, they're still struggling. It's not right or wrong, it's just that the challenges we've got to overcome, it's in here. So how quickly are you going to do it? How, you know, are you able to do it? Sorry, let me word this properly. However long it's going to take you to do it is entirely down to you. But the fact is that people with every background imaginable and with every level of resource available are able to find a way to make it work. And if they can do it, and always ask, are there other people that have come from my situation that have achieved it? The answer is always yes. Therefore, it is possible for you as well. They've done it, you can do it. The only question is, the only variable of how long is it going to take is going to be, well, how committed are you? How willing are you to do the work? How willing are you to get uncomfortable, to push yourself, to do stuff that doesn't necessarily feel nice? You know, like launching your first webinar and you're worried that nobody's going to show up and whatever, you know? So yeah, just you've got to be willing to be in that space where it's like, I don't care how long it takes. Even if this takes me 5 years, I'm not stopping, no matter what. I'm going to keep going until I succeed. Right? That number one, you need that mindset. Because if you're of the mindset of, look, if I haven't really seen results in 30 to 60 days, I'm probably going to give up. Well, if someone joins the gym with that attitude, how realistically do you think they are to succeed in the long term? It's not going to happen, right? You got to be, you got to be in this space where it's like, I'm going to, like, whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And whatever, doesn't matter what money I have in my bank account, because other people have done it with less. And so therefore I can do it too. I'm just going to keep going. So hopefully that perspective helps, buddy. Again, I do totally get it. It's just really about making that shift and just committing no matter what, that you're just going to keep moving forwards. Let's see, what else? We've got 5 minutes left. Amelia says, my problem is lacking of time because of work and of course financial aspect. Hopefully we've covered the financial aspect. Also regarding time, so if anyone's got the concern of I'm not sure I have time to start an online business, I've got, I've gotten a job already that I'm working full time, maybe you've got kids, for example, in the evenings, like you've got other commitments. The last video that I did on YouTube was what to do if you feel you don't have the time to start an online business. It was called, let me just tell you what it was called. I don't have the time. Yeah, I don't have time to start an online business, and it was posted on the 18th of December 2019. So if you're watching this recording, just fine, from the 18th of December 2019, that specifically answers what to do if you feel you don't have the time, like how to get around it, how to deal with it, etc. I've just come off the questions. Just can do one or two more. Okay. Rob Wembley. My challenge is to market to and secure clients that will pay me what I feel I am worth. I provide a consulting service. Too many leads out there that want to spend as little as possible for something that has real monetary value. I can explain more if required. Okay, so excuse me. So two things that come to mind with this is, number one, you may be getting in front of the wrong people. You're probably attracting the wrong people. And the reason that is probably happening is, particularly like if you're already like online, you're finding clients online. Let's say you've got ads, maybe like a YouTube ad, or you're doing pay-per-click on Google or something. Typically what you find is if you're speaking to the wrong type of people as leads, or you're getting the wrong type of people on your email list as leads, then that's because the message that you're putting out at the front end is attracting the wrong type of person. And this is why you've got to be crystal clear about who is the right type of person that you're able to help and that you want to work with. So for example, I deal with online business education. I teach people how to build online businesses. And in my front end ads, if I was leading with, hey, listen, you can make this much money in 30 days, and look at all these results of all these people that have made money, and here's this Ferrari that I'm standing in front of, and look at me traveling in this wonderful place in the world, and you could have this too, and it literally could be yours for this much, and you can have it in 30 days if you put the work in, and you can get rich quick from using my training. Right? If I put that message out there, I'm going to attract a very specific type of person. Someone who's just flashing the pan in it for the money. They have get rich quick mentality. They think they're going to snap their fingers and get rich overnight. And excuse me, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat today. But with that, if that's the type of person, if I find that, I'm either speaking to people or my team is speaking to people, or the emails that I'm getting are for people that are saying, hey, I've gone through your course and it's 30 days later and I'm not a millionaire yet and I want a refund because I'm really upset and angry. Now, if I was then going, look, these people, none of these people are the right sort of person, they're on my list, but they're just crap leads. Well, I attracted them. I'm the one who put the message out there that made them decide to purchase. Now, that's telling me, that's giving me feedback that I'm attracting the wrong sort of person with my message. So, I'll get rid of this frog in my throat. Excuse me. So what we look at is well, what sort of message do we put out there? So for example, a lot of what, like scrap the 9 to 5, what we put out there now is, you know, if you want to build an online business, you've got to do it for the right reasons. You've got to be willing to put the work in. Look at it like joining the gym. You know, if you're expecting to join the gym and get 6-pack abs in 30 days, don't bother joining the gym, right? It's going to take time. This is a journey that you go on. And ultimately, it's the people who are in it for the right reasons, like the big reasons. They really want to change their life. They really want to create something better for themselves and their families. Those are the people that are going to succeed. You've just got to be willing to keep going no matter what. Like that will be a typical type of message that we put out. Now, if someone's of the get rich quick mentality, I'm just looking for the next thing, I want to get rich in 30 days, that message is not going to attract them. They'll be like, no, I'm not doing work. God, not interested in that. Skip ad. Okay, so type of clients that you're attracting is in relation, the type of clients you get, that's who you're attracting with your messaging. So number one is look at your messaging. Number two, mate, is also secure clients that will pay me what I feel I am worth. I get that. Good that you have that level of self-worth. But what really matters is, what does the market feel that you're worth? What's the actual value that you're offering to the market? Because I could say, you know, I love this product. This is a great product. I mean, it's a fantastic deodorant. I feel this is worth 100 quid. So I'm going to sell it for 100 quid because I feel it's worth that. So great, I might feel that it's worth that, but nobody else feels it's worth that. They're not going to pay 100 quid for a deodorant, you know. But if I actually create this and it delivers 100 pounds worth of value, and I can show how it does, and it actually does, well, now I can charge 100 quid. What does the market think it's worth? What is it actually worth? So here's the thing, mate. Again, great that you've got the self-worth, because that's actually a lot of people sell themselves short. They're like, I'm not sure I'm worth that much. Actually, you're worth a lot more. But for yourself, just be sure, like, you know, what is the value that you actually offer? Define it. Like, would somebody else pay that? And again, speak to your leads, like talk to them and ask them, what do you feel this is worth? And they say, I don't feel it's worth that much. Great. Well, are you attracting the wrong type of person? And also, are you actually delivering the value that you think you're delivering? You know, you helping them solve those pains and problems. Because if you really help them solve a serious problem, people will pay money for you to make their lives better. And people will follow you as a leader if they see you as somebody who can solve their problems and make their lives better. And if you're not doing that, they're not going to follow you because you're not adding value to their life. All right. So keep that in mind. Good questions. Okay. So I think the last one's time. We've got another one on time, finances. I think we've pretty much covered a few of the common angles. So I hope that this has been valuable for all of you guys on the call. And if you're watching the recording, then again, I hope this has been valuable to watch. And everything, like anything we recommend to help people start with online businesses, check the description below. There's links there for things we use, things we recommend to get started. And also, guys on the panel, appreciate you all. Thank you very much for your contribution, for your input. Thank you for being here. And for everyone else, however you're watching this, have an amazing Christmas. Have a fantastic New Year. This is the last webinar until 2020 now. You'll get emails with all the details of when the next one is. But until then, have a great time. Enjoy time with family and friends, and I hope it's a great holiday season. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Bye for now. See ya.